A unit cable hoe. This goes back to the 50s. Why am I stopping here taking a video of a ancient machine like this? Well, back in 1962, in our development in Hazlet, our sewers or our septics failed. So they did a project where the whole development, they put sanitary sewers in. And this thing would rip through the pavement, go down all the streets of my neighborhood, and I would follow this thing like a puppy, watching this thing dig for our sewer lines, our main sewer lines. This thing seems so small now, but it seemed like a giant when you're a 7-year-old watching this thing work. And it takes a certain amount of skill to work this machine. Look how tiny it is compared to what they have today. Somebody fabricated a box for this. I don't know what that is. I'm thinking maybe they changed the engine in this. But Union of Operating Engineers. Unit. This is so neat. Oh, it's locked up. I never noticed it has 2 pivot points. These are the controls. Look at, they're locked. They got the swing lock, master cutoff. Man, I'd love to see this thing work. I would love it. Are these labeled? You got your seat there, it turns away. This is so neat. This brings back so many memories. I was like a little puppy following this thing. I made friends with the operator and the crew as they put in their asbestos pipe. They're like 6-inch asbestos pipe they put in. Transite, I think they called it. That is so neat. I've known this has been here for a while. I just never had an opportunity to stop over. These aren't labeled though. I don't know what oh, there they are. Front drum, rear drum. Look at that. I bet this thing still operates. Wouldn't it be funny if this was the actual machine that I watched work? I wonder if there's like a serial number, if they could tell me who owned this machine, where it came from. That is so neat. Yeah, I have boring you, but you know what? I think this is so neat. Of course, the glass is all gone out of it, but I see they had tracks here for the sliding tracks for the glass. I guess it slid into the overhead. The door looks like it's made out of bed frame angle. This is so neat. Is it locked? No, I'm not gonna fuck with it. I don't know what that is. Unit cable hoe. I don't know what model this is. It's not a Bantam. You got your grease fittings under there. I remember when I was a kid, of course they probably knew about it. But I was watching and I pointed out to the operator that this cable was frayed. I'm sure they knew about it, but they acted surprised just to impress a 7-year-old kid. This thing bumps against the boom when it comes up here. I guess it doesn't. Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't even reach it. See the stoppers on the boom? Got 3 adjustments on the bucket. This is so neat. And I'll show you, there's another machine I'm much less familiar with. They have on display over here. It's Bucyrus. Now, I'm in the locale where there was a sand pit. Well, actually, this is the operating engineer's training facility in South Brunswick. Private property. All visitors must check in at office. Am I a visitor? This is what they'd use in the sand pits around here. This I don't see much of these, or I never saw much of these operating anywhere. Only at shows, but shows I haven't been to. But this unit used to be on this. The unit used to be over here, and I guess they acquired this. Look at the massive steel on that thing. I'm easily distracted. There was one sitting abandoned about 2 miles from here, off of Cranberry Road, right where it crosses the turnpike. It sat there abandoned after they closed the sand pit. And I don't know where it went. It looks similar to this, but I'm not sure this is it. It was far from being restored. This is so neat. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this thing hasn't rotated in a while. Bucyrus Erie. I ain't got to climb up on that and look in the cab. You can get hurt falling off that. I always wondered how the arm retracts on that. How does that work? I know some of them have like a chain and like a rack on this part of the boom, and that thing would turn this way to pull this up, turn that way to push it down. But this has a cable that loops around, and I guess it depends on the position of that cable. It actually spools around that thing there, and that's how they pull that. Retract that up or retract it down. This boom stays pretty much stationary. I don't think they really ever move this too much. I mean, they might, but. And there's the trip for the bucket. You pull that thing and the bucket opens up and dumps out the back. Yeah, I don't know too much about these. I've never actually seen one of these operate, except on videos. Everything's locked up. This is so neat. This stuff, I've always been curious about these machines. I ain't climbing up there at all. There's the cab. If you can see it, I'm sure those controls are labeled as well, but we're not going to climb up there. And this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Dean's Road, Hall Road. Yeah, I got to zoom back to fit this whole thing in the screen. I think that's pretty neat. I think these machines are pretty neat. Not so much the hydraulic excavators, which are a dime a dozen. Yeah, this is where they train everybody. I don't know if these are relics of antiques or just for training. That tower crane's been here for at least 40 years. Because this is pretty much my locale, so I'm pretty familiar with this area. Short story: those towers for the high tension wires. I had my boss used to live on Fresh Ponds Road, which is near here. One winter we had an ice storm, and coming to work, that corner tower, you can't see it, but there's a tower in the corner. That corner tower failed because of the ice, because they were just stringing these up, and these 3 towers collapsed, dropping these cables, the line. It wasn't energized yet. They were still in the process of building it, so they didn't have it fully braced. But that tower was stayed up. This tower fell over. That tower fell over. And of course the corner tower, where it turns the corner there, makes a right turn. You can't see it, but it's back there. That corner tower failed and dropped these here. I had Polaroid pictures of the cable and that laying on the ground. It had the spacers on it and everything. But yeah, that was a mess. The cables were over Dean's Road, Hall Road. Good thing it wasn't energized. But there's that.